and welcome to another video. So yes, I have my hoodie on. Yes, my hair's a mess. I'm trying to do this without sniffling. I'm feeling quite ill, so I'm going to do this intro as quickly as possible. This is going to be quite a bit long, this video, I reckon. Well, it's going to be spanned over a long period of time. So today we are on the 12th of November and the Goodreads Choice Awards Longlist has been announced. So I've gone through it and picked out the books that I already own that are on my TBR shelves, and I'm going to read those books, and then when it's the end of the long list opening, we are going to decide on which ones we are going to vote for in the Choice Awards, because obviously there are some books that I have already read that are in there, but there are 4 books which are being sat on my TBR shelf that I haven't got round to, and they have been longlisted. So I'm going to read them. And I've got 4 quite large books, but I think they're still going to be quite quick reads. So let's just run through the 4 we have and that we're going to be reading in this video. So we have We Solve Murders by Richard Osman. This is like a cozy crime book. This is a new series that's been released by this author, and it's actually set in the New Forest, which is where I live. So I reckon I'm going to love this very much so. It's going to be, again, like a cozy mystery. Then we have An Academy for Liars by Alexis Henderson. This is the latest book by this author that's only just come out. This is the author of The Year of the Witching, which I read last month and absolutely loved. This one is very much dark academia, and I'm just really looking forward to this. I think it's going to be quite, it says on here, it's twisted, it's a very good dark academia. It says here, an utterly enchanting dark academia stunner with lush atmospheric, imaginative and impossible to put down. So yeah, looking forward to this very much so. Then we also have When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker. This has a gorgeous cover. This was in the fantasy. This one obviously has an assassin, it has dragons. I think it's going to be really good fun. I have recently spoken to a friend who has just read this and said it was absolutely amazing, but that there is a glossary in the back, and to just make sure you use the glossary, because my friend didn't realise. So there was times throughout the book where she didn't really know what the author was trying to say or what the author meant, but there's a glossary in the back. So at least I know that information now instead of reading the book and then coming across it once I've finished. But yeah, it's another one that I'm very much looking forward to. And then lastly, we have The Woman, which is in the historical fiction category. This is by Kristen Hanna. I know this is going to be emotional. Every book written by Kristen Hanna is emotional, but I absolutely love it, and it's always stunning writing. So I think I'm still going to love this book as well. So those are the 4 books that we're going to read. I think I'm going to start with the Richard Osman book, because that was in my November TBR anyway. So I'm going to start with that one. And I'm going to go straight into it now. So that is the plan. So I'm going to be reading this. This is starting on the 12th. I'm reading them up until the 24th. Hopefully I get all of these books read, but we shall see. We shall see. So I'm going to bring you along for the whole time as well. So it's going to be a bit of like a spend a week and a bit with me, as well as reading these books. So hopefully you stick around and you enjoy this video. Hello, I'm here with a reading update. So you may have noticed that I haven't really been vlogging the last few days. We're now on Friday. I started this on Tuesday, and yeah, I believe it or not, I looked even worse than I do now the last few days. I have been really, really ill. So I have taken a bit longer to read the first book than I would have thought it would take. So I'm still feeling a bit meh and a bit sniffly and stuff like that, but it's nowhere near as bad as it has been this week. So I'm on the mend, finally. I did finish a book last night, so I want to talk about that. So yeah, like I said, it's Friday. I'm not going out this evening now, which was the plan, we were going to go and watch the fight, the Tyson Fury fight this evening with some friends, but yeah, that's not happening now because I got such a busy Saturday and Sunday that I kind of was a bit worried about doing this evening plus all day Saturday evening, Sunday, because I would just put myself right back into this position come Monday. So yeah, I had to think long and hard about it, but we're not doing that this evening now. But anyway, let's sort of chimp on about how I'm ill because nobody cares. I just need to get on with it. So I did finish last night We Solve Murders, and I'm giving it 5 stars. Okay, so this is the new book by Richard Osman. It's a whole new series that he is launching with new characters, and it really works. It really works. So I kind of feel like with Richard Osman's work, so this is the same author as The Thursday Murder Club. With his writing, I would say it's quite simple writing, but it's meant to be like fast-paced. It's meant to be short chapters, fast-paced. It's meant to be all-inclusive, like people that don't tend to read can read them, if that makes sense. It's that sort of writing style. I don't know if that even makes sense. It does in my mind. So that, you know, people that, you know, just they're about to get on the train or an airplane, they might see it and be able to pick it up and enjoy it and be able to read it. It's nothing dense. The writing style is not dense. There's nothing, it's not too fleshed out. It's just simple to the point, and it works. It works. I would say this is a cozy mystery. I think it's more like a cozy thriller, if that's even a thing. I don't think that's even a thing. Maybe that's a new thing we can make up here. Cozy thriller. So we're basically following Steve Wheeler, and he is a retired police officer living in the New Forest, which I absolutely loved because obviously I live on the edge of the New Forest. So everything that was described in this book, I knew. So it said about Brockenhurst, Lymington, Lyndhurst, all of that. And I knew everything. So that was brilliant. It also goes over to California. It also goes to Dubai and Ireland. So it does do a bit of jet setting as well, which is good. But yeah, the main character, Steve Wheeler, is actually based in the New Forest, which I absolutely loved. And we're basically following him. He is kind of doing a bit of little detective work, mainly like looking for lost dogs, like nothing serious. I mean, there's no crime really in the New Forest anyway, so there's definitely no murders. I think the only ever murder that's ever happened in the New Forest is one woman who was, her son hired a hitman to go, and her stepson I think it was, so they knew. It's not like it was a random murder, like that doesn't happen in the New Forest. So obviously that's why you couldn't have all these murders happening in the New Forest, because it's just not realistic. It's not going to happen. But anyway, we're then seeing Amy Wheeler, who is Steve's daughter-in-law, and she is like this bodyguard. She jets all over the world looking after people, and she's given the task to look after this author who has this Russian guy coming after her. And this author is this amazing, like really well-known, very famous author. And yes, she's basically over California. She then learns that there's someone out to kill her. So she's trying to think, who can she rely on? And she obviously thinks of her father-in-law. So she gets Steve to jet out there, and they start to go on the run with these bad people after them. There's like money laundering stuff going on. It's a very like good action based type of story, but at the same time it's cozy in a way. I don't know how to describe it, because obviously the Thursday Murder Club is just cozy mystery. It's cozy because, you know, it's a couple of elderly people that are solving this crime. They're trying to work out who is after Amy and why. So that's the Steve Wheeler and then the author. You're getting some of Steve Wheeler's friends involved as well from his pub quiz. They all live in the forest. They start getting involved, and you just have a very fun time with this. It's something that you're just gonna love. You're gonna love it. It's very easy to read. Like I said, like simple writing style, so anyone can read it. And the characters are so lovely. They really are. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to reading more in this series. I do need to still read the last book in the Thursday Murder Club series, so I'm going to get that soon and hopefully read that before the end of the year because I desperately want to get that read. So there we have it. That is the first book in this vlog that has been read. I thought I was only going to take a couple of days to read this. But when I'm ill, I get so easily flipping distracted as unreal. So it's taking me a bit longer. But I also started this morning the next book, which is this. This is An Academy for Liars by Alexis Henderson. This is the author of The Year of the Witching, which I read last month and absolutely loved. This book, I think I'm going to love it. So I'm only 15 pages in. So I'm not going to give my full thoughts and what it's about just yet. I'm going to give like an update later when I'm a bit further in. But yeah, I think I'm going to definitely like this book. I really do. I've loved the first 15 pages already. I mean, I can't say you can love it. I mean, it's a bit dark. It's actually a bit dark. I didn't think it was going to be as dark as it is. There is like a creepy moment within the first couple of pages. So I think we're in for a treat with this one. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So I'm going to continue reading this today. I'm going to now head into the office because I work from the office today. So I'm going to go head off there now. Take my book with me because my colleague isn't in the office today because I told her just to work from home because I have this cold. I don't want to pass it on even though I'm seeing her tomorrow night because we're going to a friend's house. But I should be fine by tomorrow evening. I should be. It'll be fine. So let's head to the office and I'll give you a little update when I'm a bit further through the book later. Hello, thought I would just give a little bit of a reading update on this because I'm 88 pages in and I'm loving it. I'm absolutely loving it. So basically we are following Lennon Carter and she's basically given up her life to live with this guy and has pretty much become a housewife at the age of 20 and is realising, you know, that this shouldn't be her life. When she realises that he's being unfaithful, she basically just runs off with his car. And while she's on this journey, she doesn't know where she's going, what she's going to do, but she gets this random phone call and this person, like a distorted voice, basically tells her to head to wherever it is that she's headed to. And then when she gets there, she finds this academy. What is it called? Drayton College. So Drayton College, and the whole place, kind of like from the outside, just like looks like nothing really. She goes in and it's obviously a lot bigger than, you know, what she thought it was going to be. And there's a lot of people in this college and everyone has some sort of power and they all have like this, like almost like magical powers or supernatural powers, or they're basically training to be able to move things or possess things, that sort of thing. So it's kind of like Hogwarts, but dark and more extreme. It's like a cross between Hogwarts and then the academy that's in Fourth Wing. But then obviously with Fourth Wing, people are dying. I don't know if people are actually dying in this. I don't think they are. So probably not as extreme as the academy in Fourth Wing, but definitely more darker than Hogwarts and basically like a much darker version of Harry Potter. And I'm absolutely loving it. Absolutely loving it. We are kind of getting really to know Lennon as a person, as a character, and I actually quite like her character. I feel a bit sorry for her in a way because obviously she had her heart set on marrying this guy. They were engaged and he was just an absolute nasty, horrible, horrendous person. And she's now finally realising that her life is not meant to be about bowing down to a bloke. It's good for those feminists out there. Those of us that, you know, a bit of the feminist to us. Yeah, it's good that she's starting to realise this. And yeah, this whole college is just brilliant. I'm absolutely loving the setting for this. loving the fact that there's this magical bit to the story. We haven't dived in enough to the school, in my opinion, to the college. I think that's all to come. So I don't have many more thoughts on that. All I know is that I'm absolutely loving this book, and I think it's just really well done. It's really well written, and I kind of knew that I was going to love this anyway, because I knew that this author can write stunning books. She has beautiful writing, so I kind of knew this was going to be the case anyway. So yeah, I'm really pleased that I got this. I had pre-ordered it because I knew it was the same author as The Year of the Witching, so I pre-ordered this before it came out, and yeah, it was a good shout because I'm loving this. So I'm gonna read probably for about 20 more minutes or so, then I'll do like the end of the day sort of thing that I've got to do in the office. I'm gonna head out over to the shop this evening. I need to get some stuff. A 1-year-old's birthday for tomorrow and a baby shower for Sunday. My life is now evolving around children, like all my friends that are having children, and that's what my life is now. I mean, my birthday party I had last week before used to be absolutely mental, very much alcohol fueled, and last weekend we had some children there, and I was like, my parties have changed a lot. We had some pregnant ladies, and so yeah, very different now. Now I've hit 35, it's very different. So yeah, tomorrow we are going to my friend's little one's first birthday, which is going to be like a nice walk. We're going over to Weymouth, so it's about like an hour and 40 minutes, or an hour and a half, I think. No, it can't be that much long. It's about an hour and 15, I think, away from where we are. So we're going to do that. I need to pick up a book from the library as well before, so we're going to leave at like 9, go to the library, pick up the book, and then head on down to Weymouth. And we're going to have some lunch out with some friends as well, which will be nice. And then we'll head back, and then we're getting ready because we're going to a friend's housewarming party, so for the evening. So we're doing that. That's not far, that's only about 10 minutes down the road from where we live, so that's fine. And then on Sunday we're going to a baby shower, but it's like 12 o'clock and it's like the other side of the New Forest, so it takes about 45 minutes to get there because we live on one end of the New Forest and this is on the end where you kind of have to go up and down because of where the river comes through. There's no straight direct going across, which is quite annoying, but it is what it is. So we're going to a baby shower on Sunday, so that's the weekend's plans, and I obviously need to get some cards and presents this evening, which I know I've left it very last minute, but it's fine. So I'm going to do that this evening, and we'll have some dinner. I might get some more reading done this evening, we shall see, but I will take you along for like the walk in Weymouth, because I think it'll be quite nice. We're going to like a nature reserve, and then we're going out for lunch, so I'll take you along for that. But yeah, it's quite a nice, I was going to say it's quite a nice weekend, but actually it's a weekend where we're kind of like here, there and everywhere for other people, but it's fine. So I'm going to continue reading this though for about half an hour, get some more of this read, and then we'll be finishing work for the day. Hello. So I thought, hang on a second. I just put my book out of reach. Okay, so I thought I'd give a little bit of a reading update. I don't have the, I can't even see it. So obviously I'm still reading An Academy for Liars by Alexis Henderson. I don't have the desk jacket. I'm on page 301. So I think I've got about 150 pages left of this. I was hoping I'd get it finished today, but that's not been the case. But I should finish it fairly early tomorrow. I could get on to the next book from tomorrow. So I thought I'd give a little bit of an update. So obviously we're following Lennon, and obviously we know that she's had a difficult life, and then she basically runs away, and then she gets called to this like magical school. So like a dark version of Harry Potter, Hogwarts and Harry Potter, which I said before. This one is following a bit more closely, you know, her training. So she wants to be able to manipulate people and persuade them using her mind, and it's all very, you know, dark. It's not like just doing some potions and stuff like that. It's very dark mind manipulation and all that sort of thing is happening in this academy. And I kind of feel like she kind of went to this academy and didn't really ask any questions. We've seen a bit where she's gone to see her parents and sister, and they don't really know anything about magical stuff, anything like that. So it's kind of a bit odd that she never questions why she's in this school and where this school came from, and why she's never had magical powers or anything like that previously. And now all of a sudden she does, and she never questions that. So I find that really bizarre. I also kind of feel like the pacing's been a slightly bit off recently. Well, not recently. Just before you get to like the halfway mark, it slows down quite a lot. Once you pass the halfway mark, it does then pick up again. There is a lot of like action kind of stuff going on as well at the moment, which I'm absolutely loving. I do actually quite like our main character. There's something, she's okay. I mean, she's not like the best, you know, main character, female protagonist that you can have, but she's an okay character. I don't mind her at all. It's not like she's unlikable by any means. We're kind of seeing, you know, if there's this forbidden romance, it's like will they, won't they type of thing going on. There's part of me that's hoping that that does happen, because I just like the idea of this forbidden romance, even though, yeah, it shouldn't really be happening. But yeah, there is that happening at the moment. I did have a look to see what other people were saying about this book, and there's a lot of mixed reviews about it. But what I obviously, it was all spoiler free, so I don't know what's going to happen. But I do know there's like a twist at the end, and that it gets quite emotional, this book. So I'm intrigued to see how that happens. But yeah, I'm feeling confident that this is going to be a good book. I wouldn't say it's a 5-star read for me by any means, but I think it's a solid 4. So that's good. That's good. It's an enjoyable read. I would say this is my favourite in the category that it comes under. So it comes under fantasy. And obviously I've read a few, I think this is the 4th book in that category that I have read. This isn't the worst one. There's one that I DNF'd in that category. So this, you know, I think is a third place out of the 4 in that category. So I do think it's a good book. It's a good book. I just wouldn't say it's like wowed me, blown my mind, made it 5 stars, that type of thing. But that could all change, because we still have 150 pages left. Like, this author could do an amazing things in the last section of this book. So we will need to see. So I'm going to continue reading now. I've got quite a hectic evening, so I don't think I'm going to get any reading done this evening. I'm basically going to go over to my parents, have dinner with my mum. Then afterwards I'm going to go and see my nan and granddad, because I hadn't seen them for my birthday, because my nan had been quite poorly, been in and out of hospital, so I didn't get to see them. So I'm going there after dinner this evening, spending an hour or so with them. And then I've got to go to the shop, because we ran out of washing tablets for the washing machine, and I still need to do a load of washing. So I need to do that washing tomorrow. and then I'll come back here and I just want to do like a, what would you call it, like a shower, possibly do a face mask, just basically chill for like a little bit, like 20 minutes or so, and then go to sleep, try and get early sleep. So my new morning routine kicked in this morning. As you may have seen, I did a little walk this morning. So my plan now is to try and go for a walk every single morning. Obviously if it's raining, it's not going to be doable because I don't want to be walking in the rain. So on those days I'll be watching like an episode of Gilmore Girls and getting cozy. But if it's not raining, I am going to be out walking. And obviously Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday this is. Doing a walk down by the beach and heading back. Obviously Thursday and Friday, if it's not raining, I'm going to be walking to work and back. Because kind of like changes it up a little bit. So doing 3 days, doing one walk, and 2 days doing another walk, I think kind of changes it up a little bit. So I shouldn't get bored. But that is the plan. That is the plan. Obviously Thursdays when I get my nails done, I won't be able to do that. But yeah, this is the plan going forward. And it was just a really nice walk that I had this morning. I live in an amazing part of the world. I really do. I'm very, very lucky to live where I live. And I need to make the most of it because I don't make the most of the beach at all. And I really, really want to get into the habit of being by the sea as much as possible. I mean, I live by the sea, but, you know, actually being on the sea front as much as possible. So that's the plan. And it's quite nice, you know, I've got a mint tea that I took in my travel mug, which kept it lovely and hot. And it was very nice just having a stroll and drinking my tea whilst walking. And, you know, seeing the ducks. And there's like a couple of ponds there. It's a nature reserve that I walked through. So seeing all that and all of the autumn leaves was like beautiful. And then obviously seeing the beach and the sea from the cliff top was beautiful. So it's actually quite a nice walk. So I'm going to be doing that Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays when it's not raining. And yeah, I'm looking forward to doing that. I have a feeling though tomorrow it's going to be raining. So sounds all that, isn't it? I just started this new morning routine and the weather is against me. I get that there's a lot of places that has snow forecast. That's not going to be the case down here. We don't really get snow here. So it wasn't even that cold this morning. I had to undo my coat and it was just my t-shirt because it was actually quite warm. I was expecting it to be a lot cooler today, but it wasn't. We're still in double figures. It's not going below 10 degrees. So yeah, obviously first thing in the morning it's like a lot colder, but yeah, it's warming up. It warms up quite quick and we're not at the point where we're going to get any snow. So it's fine to do these morning walks. But yeah, it's a nice little new morning routine, which I'm really excited about, just to get me out and about. And it feels so much better actually going out for a walk. It's good for starting you up for the day. So yeah, very much enjoyed that. So I will be doing that 3 days a week from now on. And I'm going to start from, if I do go tomorrow, otherwise it'll be Wednesday, because I know it's definitely not raining Wednesday, then I am going to be doing audiobook reading a lot more when I'm doing my walks. So I didn't today because I was trying to get the gist of a little walking route that I wanted to do. So now I've got like the gist of that, then I'm just going to be listening to my headphones, my audiobook. So I can't get this on audiobook, unfortunately. So I will start like another one, which is a book that's on my November TBR. So I will be still reading through my November TBR, but it won't be this book that I'm listening to, but that's fine. It means I have 2 books on the go, but that's okay. But yeah, it's exciting when you start a new routine, isn't it? So I'm going to continue reading for like another half hour, and then I shall head off to my parents to have dinner, run all the errands that I need to run this evening, and that's my little update for now. So I have a reading update. I have finished this, which is An Academy for Liars by Alexis Henderson. So I'm very torn about what to actually rate this book. I don't know whether it's a 3 or 4. So there's a lot that I absolutely loved about this book. However, it is a very slow-paced book, and we are never really told why Lennon has been chosen, really, to go to this magical school. And the whole time, I know I said this in my last update, but you kind of she just accepts it straight away. Like, this is apparently someone who's lived a very normal life with no magic. And, you know, just like the regular you and I, in the real world. And then she gets thrown into this school, and there's a lot of mind control and like sort of powers, like magical powers, that sort of thing. And she never once questions it. She just straight away falls for someone and then just does everything this person tells her to do. And it just seems really bizarre. Really bizarre. So there's like a lot that I liked about this. I loved about this book. And there was just some bits which I just didn't get. I don't know, it was very difficult. I would have loved more dark academia and gothic vibes in this book as well. I kind of feel like there was enough of that, which is a bit sad. But there was a lot about this book that I did really enjoy still. So we kind of have this forbidden romance, which was, you know, quite okay to read about. We kind of have a bit of action as well, quite a bit of action. We kind of see how she is trying to protect this whole school, that she is here to do these powers that will just protect the school and protect all of the students. I don't know, I like the fact that, you know, it is like a dark version of Hogwarts. I didn't really mind the characters, to be honest, and I didn't really mind the main character. And I know that there's like a lot of mixed views on our main character. There's a lot of people that just did not like this character at all. I kind of feel like she was okay, and I didn't dislike the character at all. So I kind of feel like, yeah, it was absolutely fine. It's very difficult to talk about this book. I don't want to give away any spoilers. Maybe just go in blind. I kind of feel like I'm very much sitting on the fence with this one. But then I don't think it's as low as a 3-star. Because I did want to keep reading. I wanted to constantly be picking this book up. I constantly wanted to know what was going on. I was very much intrigued. I wanted the story. I wanted to continue to see where the story was going. So, you know, those are all perfect reasons for enjoying a book. I did like the ending. I did like the ending in the end. And, you know, I did tear up a little bit with the ending as well, if I'm completely honest. But, yeah, I don't know whether it's a 3 or 4-star. I think I'll need to think on it a bit more. And then when I do the wrap up for this video, I will make a final decision then. So, yeah, those are my thoughts on the book. So I have a 3 or 4-star. There's a lot to love about this book, but at the same time, there's some parts that just don't really make much sense. And like reasons, like things that the author has chosen to do. So yeah, it's very much on the fence with it. So I have 2 books left, but we are on Tuesday evening. So as you would have seen from my clip, I did do a walk again this morning, and this evening I went to my sister's for dinner. She lives about an hour and 15 minutes away from me along the motorway, so not too bad, but it's still quite a way from me. But yeah, me and my mum went over to hers for dinner, which was very nice. So I'm going to make a start on the next book tomorrow morning. So I kind of couldn't figure out how I was going with that. So I have 2 books left, basically. Sorry, it's all over the place. I'm actually very tired. And I kind of feel like the Kristen Hannah book, The Woman, is definitely going to be in the shortlist. But I'm not 100% sure whether this definitely will make it to the shortlist. So I think I'm going to read this, just in case it doesn't make it to the shortlist. I'm going to read this. It's quite chunky, but I kind of feel like the writing seems to be quite large. There's not that many words per page, and I think it's quite short chapters as well. Possibly, yeah. So I think it's meant to be quite fast paced. It's a bit of a fantasy, and I'm really looking forward to reading this. It's also got a gorgeous cover, so that's going to be the next read. So I thought I'd just come on here and give you a very quick reading update. Hello, so I had to give a bit of a reading update on this. When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker, because I'm on page, what page am I on? Let me just check. 123. I'm going to hold the dust jacket up instead. It's easy. Oh, it's a bit shiny. So yeah, I'm loving this book. It's just a very good book. Right, so it starts off talking about the 5, I suppose they're called, well, creators. So there's like earth, fire, air, water, that sort of thing. There's 5 of them that created this world, and we've had a lot of world building, which has been fantastic. So we start off finding out about the world they have created. And there's a lot of folk, so like human type people. There's a lot of fae. There's a lot of people that can kind of hear these creators' songs, and they can use those powers for to their advantage. Then we're basically following Rave, I think is how you say her name. She's kind of like an assassin that's been hired to, I guess, go around and assassinate people that needs to be assassinated. But we're kind of following her and this world. I don't know what I can say without giving too much away, but it is just a really fantastic book. And I do really like the characters, and I just love the world building in this. I love the setting. It's a whole new world. So it's not like our world, it's a whole different world. We've got a bit of a map. I don't know if I hold this up how much you can see, but can you see that? So you have like almost like the northern and southern hemisphere, but one's always in light, one's always in dark. And it's kind of like this magical world. And we're kind of following, there's also dragons as well. So we haven't seen too much of the dragons yet, but I think we're getting to that. There is a glossary in the back, which you kind of have to possibly read first. It kind of like tells you who's who. It tells you
all of like the different creatures that are in this world, because it gives you a bit more information. So as you're reading the book, you can kind of get the gist of what's going on and who's who, what's what. But I just love the writing in this book. The writing is fantastic and it's beautifully written. I'm just really enjoying it. I think this is going to be a 5-star. There's also some like really nice illustrations in this book as well. Plus, obviously, the hardcover has this foiling on as well, which I really, really like. So, yeah, I have high hopes for this being a 5-star. I kind of feel like it's going to be a 5-star. We're just still getting into it, really. Only, what's that, 120 odd pages in, so we're still getting into this world and getting to know the characters. It's a big chunky book. It's about 550 pages, but I kind of feel like this is quite like fast paced. It's easy to fly through. So even though it's a fantasy, it's still you're still able to follow what's going on. It's, I would say, like easy read, because obviously it's a fantasy. You're not going to, with beautiful writing, you're not going to have it as an easy read as such, but it's not slow by any means. There's been a lot of action already, so yeah, I'm getting through it fairly quickly and I'm very much enjoying it, and I kind of feel like this is going to be 5 stars. So I'm looking forward to diving. I'm going to read a little bit more now. We'll see how much I get read tomorrow as well. So it's Thursday tomorrow, so I'm going to be in the office. So we'll see how it goes and see if I get any reading time Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But I'm ending this vlog on Sunday, so I'm hoping I can finish this by Sunday. I already know I'm going to be voting for this in the romantasy. I obviously didn't want to vote if I hadn't read the book, but you know, I have started reading it, so even if I don't finish it by Sunday, I will still be voting for this, because it's just brilliant. It's a brilliant book, and I think it deserves winning the romantasy the award. I'll get there in the end. Yeah, I think it deserves winning that award. It's a fantastic book, and I'm so glad that I picked this up. I'm so glad that I've chosen to read this, because it's so brilliant, and it's a sort of book where as you're reading it, it's like you're there. You can vividly see everything going on, and it's like you know these characters really well, and yeah, it's just a brilliant book. It's a brilliant book. I'm absolutely loving it. So loving it. So yeah, I'm going to continue on, but I just wanted to give you a quick update of my thoughts so far, because I am about 120 odd pages in, but I am loving it very much so. I keep looking down. I'm just, it's like, look, you know, towards the lens, because it's a funny angle. It's making my eyes look even more tired. So, anyway, I'm going to get back on to reading this, but that is my little update for now. Hello, thought I would come on here with a bit of a reading update. So I'm past the halfway mark now. So we're on Friday, and I wanted to finish this by Sunday. I'm going to spend another 20 minutes reading,
I'm hoping I can read plenty this weekend, but I have a very full-on weekend. So I've literally just been sat here for the last half an hour working out exactly what I'm buying everyone for Christmas. I can't think straight. Basically what I'm doing this weekend. I have a lot of errands to run this weekend. Luckily we have no like solid plans of seeing people, so I can get this all done. I basically need to order Paul's present tomorrow morning online, so it arrives on Monday whilst I'm working from home. And I need to check that the bookcase that Paul got me for my birthday is the right one. So that's first thing tomorrow morning. That's what I need to do. I need to go to the library to pick up a book. I then need to go into Christchurch and do the majority of my Christmas shopping. So that is the plan for tomorrow morning. I should get the majority of it in Christchurch, and then I might get a couple of bits from Sainsbury's, as in like little fillers type of things. I'm not going to get all of the presents this weekend. I think I need to order like my cousin and his girlfriends, so I'll do that at some point over the weekend. But that's what I'm going to be doing. When I get home in the afternoon, I need to fill the green garden waste bin ready for the collection, because it's going to be the last collection. I need to also check to see when we need to order next year's green garden waste collections. Such an adult thing to say, isn't it? I need to clean my car, and then later on in the evening after dinner I want to go to IKEA. The best time to go to IKEA is in the evening. Not many people tend to go, and especially on a Saturday evening. I kind of feel like there's not going to be many people. I need to get a mirror for in the lounge, and I need to get another bookcase. So I'm asking Paul to come with me for that one, but the rest I'm going to be having to do by myself. There's no way he's going to be doing Christmas shopping. I just know what he's like. And then on Sunday, I want to be able to put my bookcases up in the morning, and then actually I might do them after. I might swap that around a bit actually. I want to get some clothes I want to do some clothes shopping. I basically got like some money from my nan and granddad for my birthday, so I want to do some clothes shopping. I want to go to the Waterstones in Bournemouth and use my gift cards, the Book Tokens gift cards. And I then need to do a food shop, and then when I get home I want Paul to help me build my 2 bookcases. So yeah, there is a lot to do this weekend. I had to like do a to-do list, which I never usually have to do, but there's so much that I need to get done that I kind of had to do a to-do list, and also basically write out what I'm buying everyone. So I now know what I'm buying everyone for Christmas. So I have so many people to buy for. It's a joke. I've got my mum, my sister, my dad, my auntie, uncle, 2 of my cousins, my nan and granddad, my sister's boyfriend, and then one of my mum's cousins, which I've already got his. I got his present from the car show that we went to a couple of weeks ago. So, I mean, I have started. I've got 1 present, but it's starting to get a bit... I don't know why I'm prattling on about this now on this video, but I have had to like properly organise, spend half an hour trying to organise exactly what I'm buying people, organise what shops I'm going to, because I have to go with a plan. I can't just go shopping without a plan. I can never do it. So at least now I know exactly what I'm doing and all of that. So there is that. And I should have pretty much all of the stuff purchased by the end of the weekend. Pretty much. So my Christmas shopping should be done. That's exciting, isn't it? We're on the 22nd of November, because I like to have all my Christmas shopping done before December starts, so that I have the whole of December just to get into the Christmas spirit and all of that lot, and not have to be worrying about Christmas shopping. So that is the plan of action for this weekend. And I've basically spoken out loud, so it's all clear in my head. So everything's perfect. So yeah, this book, I am very much enjoying it. There is one little nitty-picky little annoying thing, which is there are a lot of italics. There's a lot of points in the book where the author is trying to really point out a certain like feeling or whether, and puts it in italics, but like the author does it a lot. They do it a lot, and it's starting to get to me a little bit, because some of the stuff in italics, it doesn't make sense as to why they're in italics. Like, it doesn't need to be. So there is one iggly little picky thing with this book which has just grown on me over time. I don't know what this is doing. So yeah, that's a bit annoying, but overall that's okay. It's, you know, it's fine. So I did walk to work today, so I will be walking home after work, and my headphones are not working. They need to be recharged, which I didn't even think about because I'm stupid. So I don't have an audiobook to listen to. I'm literally listening to the sounds around me on my walk home, just quite annoying. So, but it is what it is, I suppose. So yeah, that is a bit annoying, but you know, it's fine. It's fine. We are going to live with it. It's fine. I'm still walking home from work and it is pitch black, but I live in an area where it's absolutely fine. We have no worries in this area. It's just full of old people. So it's absolutely fine. So yeah, walking home from work, having dinner. They're not really 100% sure what we're doing this evening just yet, but I'm just really glad that I've managed to sort out my very long list, which is a couple of pages. I don't really want to show it on here just in case. Yeah, I just feel such a relief. I have a to-do, I know what I'm doing and when I'm doing it, and that's just such a relief. Such a relief, that helps big time. So yeah, I just wanted to give a little update. Reading update. Wasn't much of a reading update, it was mainly me talking about my plans for the weekend, just to get them all out there so it holds me to it. Lots to do. But it is a rainy weekend though. It's all chores that, you know, I don't have to be outside for, apart from washing the car. Oh, and the green waste bin. But it shouldn't take long to do the green waste bin. I can just quickly do it in between showers. So rain showers are due all weekend. Yeah, that's my little update. I'm gonna get some more reading in for like another 20 minutes or so, some more reading in before I have to do the end of the day stuff in the office.
We've had a few messages in. This is an anonymous one that said, I just keep having dreams where I get on a plane to go somewhere far away, but I completely forgot to bring my suitcase, so I have no clothes, money, nothing, and I'm wearing absolutely nothing but a
Hello, excuse the hair. The weather in the UK the last 2 days has been horrendous, and it's also been the 2 days I've had so many errands to run. I've had to go out a lot. So I've just been very windswept. That's the best way of putting it. But I wanted to wrap up this video and tell you the books I voted for in the Goodreads Choice Awards. So we've had the long list. Just to confirm, I didn't actually finish this. I'm still reading it, and I've still got a bit of a way to go. I'm going to read some more in a bit, but this was in the romantasy category, and I have voted for it because technically it's the only book that I have read out of the romantasy category, but also it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. So I think it definitely deserves to be voted for. It's amazing. I love it. Absolutely love it. So we've got Rave, who is a bit of an assassin, and There's a bit of a little romance going on. Obviously, it's like a whole nother world. You have like these 5 creators that have created this world. And obviously, it's like a very dark fantasy. There's a lot of gore in there. There's I don't know, there's dragons, there's magic, there's just everything you could possibly want. Oh dear, that makes a noise, doesn't it? Anything and everything you could possibly want with like a fantastic fantasy. So yeah, I absolutely am loving this book, and I've kind of got all the 5-star vibes from this. So there is one slight thing that's not amazing about it, and that's the fact that there's a lot of italics throughout the book, which is not something that I'm loving, if I'm completely honest. But you know, I can look past that because the rest of it is just brilliant. It's superb. So that was what I voted for in the romantasy section. So in the historical fiction, I do have The Woman, which I was going to be reading this week for this video, and I just haven't had time to read it. However, I'm very confident that this is going to be in the shortlist because there's always a Kristen Hanna book in the shortlist for the Goodreads Choice Awards. So this should be in the next video. I'm going to carry this one on into the next video and read this. So I haven't voted for it because obviously I haven't even started to read it. Jeff, I have one of my cats here he's got an obsession with licking books, so I'm just making sure he doesn't lick the books. Okay, so there we go. There's that. In horror, we have 2 books that I have read. One definitely is going to win. I just know it's going to win. I just know. Okay, so first of all, let's talk about Murder Road, which is by Simone St. James. This is a horror author that is a go-to for me, an auto buy. I will always buy a Simone St. James book. This one, I didn't love it as much as her other books, if I'm completely honest. I absolutely loved The Sundown Motel. I absolutely loved... Oh my gosh, it's gone completely out of my head. Basically, the books that I've read by Simone St. James, I've absolutely loved. This one, it was okay. I gave it 4 stars. I just didn't love it as much as her other books. This one is possibly a little less on the supernatural side of things. The Book of Cold Cases is the other book I was talking about. Both of those were 5 stars, by the way. This one is following April and Eddie. They've taken a wrong turn and they're going along this really dark road, and there's someone who is covered in blood, very much in trouble, and so they allow her to get into the car and they're going to take her to the hospital, but on the way she dies and they end up becoming murder suspects. And yeah, there seems to be a little bit of there is a bit of a haunted stretch of the road, but I don't know, it kind of wasn't as much of the haunting side of things that Simone James usually does in her books. So it's still an enjoyable read though. But the book that I'm definitely voting for, I lost my voice then because I'm so excited about this, is We Used to Live Here by Marcus Clure, which is a fantastic book. If you haven't read this book, I would highly recommend reading it. Honestly, it's one of the most terrifying books I've ever read. Absolutely terrifying. You're basically following Charlie and Eve, and basically Eve is I'm pretty sure it's Eve is when it's so Eve is by herself in the house, and this family knock on the door, and the man says, I just want to show my family the house. I used to live here, I grew up here as a child. And she lets them in, and I don't know why. And she starts realising that there's something very sinister, either about the house or about this family, or she doesn't even know if it's her own mind. This book, absolutely terrifying, 5 stars. It's in my top 10 books of the year, without a doubt. Without a doubt, it's definitely my top 10 books of the year. I absolutely freaking love this book. So of course I voted for it. It's also in the category for the new book. So it's the first book from this author. So it's also in that category, and I voted for it in there as well because this author deserves all of the votes. Absolutely superb. And then in fantasy, there's 4 books that we've got. So the one that I'm definitely not voting for, I DNF'd it, is The Familiar by Leigh Bardugo. Now, I love Leigh Bardugo books. This one just wasn't for me. I might come back to it another time. So I'm not unhauling it or anything. I'm keeping it because there may be a time that I can read this and absolutely love it. We shall see. This one is like 16th century Spain. It's very slow. Very, very slow. So that's why I ended up, I can usually cope with slow burns and like a proper build up in books, but this one was just a bit too much. I just couldn't get into it. I just didn't like the characters as much. And yeah, so it ended up being a DNF. So I'm not going to be voting for that one. The other one that I'm not voting for is The Academy for Liars by Alexis Henderson. This one I did like. I gave it 4 stars. I did and ah a little bit. So this was Lennon, who, you know, hasn't got a great life, and she decides to run away, and she gets a random phone call taking her to Drayton College. And she's basically been chosen because she has these like special powers, and they want her to use those powers. And she has to do like some exams to stay in there. And she also, you know, has this advisor who she starts to fall for. So it's a bit of like a conflict, you know, it's kind of like a forbidden romance, as it were. Now, the only reason why I couldn't give this 5 stars is because she's like you and I, completely normal human, and doesn't really question how this academy turns up and how she's got these magical powers. Like, she doesn't question any of it. She just is going along with it, and I couldn't really understand why or how or what, but I did really enjoy it. This is a really good dark academia vibe stuff. It's kind of like a darker Hogwarts as well. So yeah, a very enjoyable book. There were 2 books that I had to and ah about, and it was these 2 for the vote. So we've got Somewhere Beyond the Sea by TJ Klune, which is the follow-up to The House in the Cerulean Sea, which both books I gave 5 stars. I absolutely love this series, and this very nearly was the winner for this category. It was so close between the 2. I had to and ah over them both. But yeah, this is absolutely, you know, like the cozy fantasy. It's very much just lovely, and you just absolutely love all the characters, and oh, it's just an amazing story. So the first one is obviously following Linus, who he works for the government, and in particular a part of the government where he goes to orphanages and makes sure that the children are safe. But there's children that have powers, and he goes to a particular orphanage and has 6 children, one of them even being the devil himself. And there's Arthur, who's looking after them. We end up like seeing this little romance blossom between Arthur and Linus, and this is a follow-on from the first book, and I absolutely loved it, and I just loved being back with all these characters again. But the book that I actually voted for was this, The Warm Hands of Ghosts by Catherine Arden, which is stunningly written. It's beautiful, and there are some scenes in this book which I just don't think you'll ever forget, and it really hits you in the feels. It really does. I absolutely freaking loved this book. Obviously it's set during the war. You've kind of got so you've got Freddie, who's a Canadian soldier. You're kind of seeing him with this German soldier. They end up, you know, having to be stuck together because of something that happens where like the buildings collapse, and they're basically trapped together, and you kind of see them form this friendship, and this you kind of see them basically having to form a friendship and getting together to help one another out. And his sister is basically a nurse in the war, but she's been sent home. But because she then realizes that Freddie has gone missing, she decides to go back to the front line to try and find her brother. But it's absolutely stunning. And it says in here, it's a book that will speak to readers directly about the trauma of war and the power of those involved to love, endure and transcend it. It's just absolutely breathtaking. and stunning, this book. I absolutely loved it and would definitely recommend it. And then in the mystery and thriller, we have 3 books. 3 books. 2, again, I had 2 which I had to struggle between which one to vote for. The one that I didn't vote for definite was The Midnight Feast by Lucy Foley. I love Lucy Foley's books, and she is a go-to author for me, an auto-buy author, and I will always buy her books. This one, I didn't love it as much as the other books. It was still a 4 stars, so I did still enjoy it. But yeah, it wasn't up there as one of my favourites from her, but still an enjoyable read. And then I had 2 books I had to choose from, and it was very difficult. So there was The We Solve Murders by Richard Osman, which is from the new series by this author. This is the author of the Thursday Murder Club. This one following a man and his daughter-in-law, and they're kind of basically trying to solve this murder, and absolutely loved it, and I love the characters. I very nearly voted for this one because I was like, it's a Richard Osman book, of course I'm going to have to vote for it. But I, at the last minute, changed my mind and went for the other one, which was All the Colours of the Dark by Chris Whitaker. I kind of feel like Chris Whitaker isn't shouted about as much as he needs to be. This is an absolutely amazing book, and this is the author of We Begin at the End, which also has a child character, and that he does such an amazing job, just such an amazing job at writing children characters, and not many authors can do it. So yeah, this is just an amazing job. This one is basically following, so his nickname is Patch, and he gets he gets kidnapped. He basically witnesses a kidnapping taking place, he interferes, and he ends up being the one that's taken, and he's locked up for a couple of years. And the only person there that's like able to help him get through is someone called Grace, but it's pitch black. He never knows what she looks like, doesn't know anything really about her apart from her name. And when he finally escapes, because his best friend Saint has been the only person that's been constantly looking for him, she manages to finally find him, so he ends up escaping from this captor, and he spent his life just wanting to find Grace, and Saint ends up becoming like a police officer to basically kind of help her best friend Patch. And it's heartbreaking, it's absolutely heartbreaking, because you see this friendship and this love. So Saint is basically in love with Patch, and has been, you know, when they were children, when he got taken, she was the only one who was predominantly looking for him and determined to find him. And then obviously when he escapes a couple of years later, you're then seeing them through their teenage years, you see them through their adult life. So this is a book that spans over a number of years, and you're seeing how Patch copes with the aftermath of the kidnapping, and how his adulthood is blighted by this kidnapping. And oh my gosh, it's absolutely amazing. It's amazing, and there's so much suspense in it. It's an epic crime. It's basically an epic crime novel and love story, and it's just beautiful. And I kind of feel like Chris Whitaker is such an amazing author that he needs all of the votes. I absolutely freaking love this author. Definitely an auto-buy author for me. It's just epic in every sense of the word. It really is. If you haven't read this book, I would 100% recommend reading it. It's stunning, absolutely stunning, and I absolutely loved it. So definitely voted for that. So there we have it. So in the mystery and thriller category, I voted for All the Colours of the Dark by Chris Whitaker. In the fantasy section, I voted for The Warm Hands of Ghosts by Catherine Arden. And in the horror section, I voted for We Used to Live Here. Also the debut novel. I remember the word now, debut novel. So I voted for in both of those categories for this book. And then in the romantasy, I voted for When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker. So these were all the books that I had on my TBR already that got into the long list for the Goodreads Choice Awards. So obviously I've read 2 and a bit of these books this week, which is in this vlog. I have purchased a couple of other books that are in this, which I purchased today. So if they make it into the shortlist, they are going to be in the next reading vlog, because I am going to be reading some of the shortlisted books as well, whichever ones I've got. I think there's going to be a couple from the books that I bought today that's going to be in the shortlist. I just have a feeling. And I reckon this is going to be in the shortlist as well, which I didn't get around to reading in this video. So I'm going to read it in that video instead. And then I'll be able to vote for something in the historical fiction category as well. So yeah, my next video is going to be another reading vlog based on the Goodreads Choice Awards. But those were my votes, or the books that I voted for in the long list. Thank you so much for watching this video. It's a bit of a longer video because obviously this spanned almost nearly 2 weeks, I think, whilst the voting for the long list was happening. So yeah, quite a long video, so I do apologise for that, but thank you so much for watching. And please do like and subscribe if you can. And I will be back very soon with another video. Bye.